Today we're going to talk about what the title says, how I got back into competitive gaming, because Tekken is almost out. And before we do that recap, I just want to chat to the chat about that, bars. So I came across this post today. Somebody on Reset Era talking about fighting games. You know, if you know me, big fighting game aficionado, kind of my thing. This is where I was kind of like, I don't know if you guys can see it in here right now. Yeah, I was into fighting games for a long time. My first fighting game, competitively, technically, was I guess just playing like Soul Calibur and Tekken and all them with like the neighborhood homies and stuff like that. And so I should have grabbed me a water. And so it's one of those things where I was kind of always like competitively minded. I always wanted to get better than people. I wanted to learn the tech behind the game and stuff. Like, so I always had that innately in me. Just that competitive drive and wanting to be better than people and stuff like that. But more recently, I've kind of gotten out of that. And I was kind of blaming a bunch of stuff. It being COVID, being the games that came out, the communities and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, what it really was just me not really having that competitive spirit and letting my ego run how I do things, which is always, not always, but sometimes it gets in the way of actually performing well and wanting to do stuff that you actually enjoy doing. So I saw this earlier today. Read this post real quick. It's an essay worth post, but it's kind of to the point. Person says, honestly, after all these years, I don't know why I do this to myself. I guess because I remember having super fond memories of Soul Calibur when I was a kid, and have always been trying to catch that high again, but never able to. Between them having created character, which is the thing I've learned a lot of folks hated about the series. Side note, created character in Soul Calibur is one of those double-edged sword things. It brings a lot of popularity to a series, but it also withdraws a lot of personality from the series. There's less focus on the main cast, and so you lose that brand identity a little bit. Like, who gives a fuck about Voldo when you can create somebody named Snake and they do Voldo stand, that type of thing. Anyways, the decent to great single player offerings, but also being a time where I could actually hang out with friends in real life, play together. Soul Calibur 2, 3, and 4 hit at the perfect time for me, meaning that they didn't really play online. In fact, aside from Smash, I never owned any of the bigger fighting games until Tekken 6. I mean, Soul Calibur 4 was pretty big in too, so I don't know. I'm not going to nitpick the entire post. And ever since I did get Mortal Kombat 9, they got Mortal Kombat X, Street Fighter 5, Tekken 7, MK11, Soul Calibur 6, the Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and then Street Fighter 6, and then the new Grand Blue. Despite my usual gripes with fighting games, Soul Calibur 6 is still the closest thing to getting me to feel like I did back in the day. Later, because for all the issues I have with online and some annoying characters, I always fall back create a character and mess with that. Ultimately, I think Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising, that's a mouthful, sort of makes me realize that maybe it should just be the final one on. Like, I was interested in Tekken 8. Since with Soul Calibur being dead in the water, it's the closest thing to it, but honestly, it's just going to end up the same. Like the Grand Blue game, sort of proves a point to me. Even if you have good online system, more simplified controls, the problem is that I will just always be terrible at these games. And it feels like all my matches are against people who are ready to go to EVO or play like they never picked up a controller before. And the ratio is still like 90-10 in favor of the former. I will explain that shit later. I can probably count the amount of matches that felt like this happens. That felt like a good even match on one hand in my nearly 300 online matches. Sure, I could just go play single player, but honestly, World Tour Street Fighter 6 couldn't hold my attention, sadly, which sucks. That was a really good mode. I was on that thing glued. Come on now, baby. I actually like that single player mode. Red Blue Rising, in my honest opinion, single player mode was basically gutted, and I don't feel like compelled to play it anymore. And I don't think I want to spend $60, $60 to $70 for a cinematic 3 to 4 hour story mode for a fighting game. Fair enough. And they just bring out the worst in me too. I could spend hours and hours fighting a single boss in a Souls-like and playing dozen matches of Call of Duty where I lose over and over again. I don't feel a fraction of anger. That's just 10 minutes of a fighting game they could bring out to me. We're also going to talk about that in my Call of Duty experiences. Maybe a Soul Calibur 7 happens. It doesn't seem like it will. It might. I'll jump back in, but considering that likely isn't ever happening, it's basically ending for me. I know, no doubt, I'll be compared to jump back in again. I know I've had the feeling of giving up before, but I think I need to try to hold myself to this stoppage better this time. Anyone else realizing that it's time to just hang up the coat on fighting games as a whole? Now, this website gets this thread like every time a new fighting game comes out, unfortunately. Because fighting games have this interesting dynamic compared to other competitive games. And it's the fact that it's a one-on-one fighter. It's one-on-one. You and one other person. This has been brought up multiple times in multiple different arenas. In my full face. Yeah. Hey. This has been brought up in like multiple different arenas, multiple different cases. Just how hard fighting games are kind of get into. Trust me, I've trained a few people. I've gotten to different points where, I can tell that the person wasn't really capable of learning the game. And that's due to mental blocks and stuff like that, which is fair. That's nothing wrong with that. But there is this thing where folks kind of demotivate themselves from playing, and that's what I want to talk about today because I felt that in a way myself recently. Well, the past few years. I'll say since 2016, 15. Yeah. Give you a time period. So, what happened? Why did I stop really getting into competitive fighters? So, I was a victim of the grind. I was someone who decided to put hours upon hours upon hours into one game. That was Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Turns out I didn't really like that game that much, and I probably should have dropped it a little bit sooner. Or at least took consistent breaks so I wouldn't burn myself out. But I went to the final round. That's a tournament in Atlanta. Unfortunately, that tournament series doesn't exist anymore. But I went there, did poorer than I did my last time. And that was around the time that Tekken 7 was on its way out. And so there was this this feeling like I don't need to play this shit anymore. I don't need to even give it time anymore. I don't need to give it the attention anymore. It's done. It's cooked. But I still wanted to play different games and different fighters and stuff like that. And so I got Mortal Kombat X. Didn't too much care for that. Oh, excuse me. I got Street Fighter V. I played it for a good while until they did some systemic changes that I didn't too much care for. I tried to get back into Tekken when Tekken 7 did, and that lasted for a good little while. That lasted for a good minute. I did play that for a while. Issue was that in and out. A lot of that's life. A lot of that's, like I said, with Street Fighter V, system changes I didn't like. Mortal Kombat Online sucked, but I didn't jump back on when online got better for Mortal Kombat 10. Fast forward to 2019, 2020, I was making a very solid run to do Evo and final round in 2020, but we all know what happened there. COVID. And it is with that I kind of just like said, fuck it. If that was like my last hurrah at trying to be competitive. And I said, you know what? I don't feel like playing online. I don't feel like grinding to Tekken God on rank modes. I don't feel like really just investing the time. Like Buddy was kind of hitting that in the thread. Like you do, the games do require some type of time requirement, but there's some misconceptions of how he put it. There, like if I were to talk to my younger self, I could point out like, yo, you don't need to spend too much time doing this. You can kind of like fall back and do some other stuff if you want to. Not like I had like a backlog back then. Like I have a backlog now, but then I didn't really have a backlog. But there's also this sense of just like, yo, this takes a lot of time. And if it takes time, if I don't see results, the results I want to see, instead of just actual like manageable goals, then what's the point? Street Fighter V is a good example of that. I wasn't ranking up the way I thought I should. Mind you, I'm coming from Tekken Tag, so I'm getting decent at that game. And I'm not noticing that when I'm trying to learn a new game, and I didn't have this problem before when I tried to learn like Virtua Fighter 5, Soul Calibur 5, Mortal Kombat 9. I didn't have that problem before. But I had gotten so good. See, with Tekken 6, I wasn't that good. Mortal Kombat 9, I wasn't that good. Soul Calibur 5, a little bit better because Soul Calibur is one of them games I could just kind of jump into. But with Tag 2, I put so much time and effort in and so much grind into that game that I lost that sense of adventure and the joy of learning and all that type of stuff. I just wanted to be good. And that's not a bad thing, but if you take something you love to do and you make it a job, or you make it a job in the worst possible way, then you're not going to really enjoy it, and it ruins that same thing for like other places. So what happens is I grind Tekken Tag 2 super hard. I'm used to getting certain results. I think my win record on there was like 51, 52, right, percent. So I'm winning more than I'm losing, but I'm also losing a lot. So, you know. I get on Street Fighter, I'm thinking, and this is like my first Street Fighter game I ever played. Like this is the first one I ever learned. So there's this aspect of I should be decent. You know, I played Mortal Kombat, I played Virtua Fighter, I played Soul Calibur. I played fighting games enough to know I should get beyond the beginning stage fast, quick. Mind you, that didn't happen. I was stuck in bronze and silver for like ages. I never got the gold in Street Fighter. Because by the time I decided to stop playing, they took out a mechanic called Invincible Dragon Punch. So when you're on the ground in Street Fighter, I wonder if I can show you some old footage of that actually. Like a visual aid. Let's see if I can find it. So this is like me back around the time where I thought I should be like some hot shit.
Save myself from like a potential throw right there.
I don't want to hear myself for the first time. I'm playing against like a gold player. I'm like ultra bronze. I'm trying to get up into like the next set of ranks, which is silver ranks. But if you look at my play here, it's not really all that good. Like I didn't juggle right there. Being very unsafe. I probably could have jab punished that, huh? Like I'm seeing stuff now that I probably didn't even conceptualize them because I played. We'll get into the Street Fighter 6 stuff, but I didn't get myself thing with that shit worked. That's crazy. A big thing with Street Fighter 5 Season 1 was that you could wake up Dragon Punch and it's invincible. Meaning the person that they pressed a button they would get hit, which is basically what happened in that situation. I was a big fan of this mechanic because if you got the read wrong, you're taking like 50% of your life gone. But if if you get it right, the opponent gets off of you. I like that mechanic, and I miss it still to this day. I do really like that mechanic, but they removed it in season 2. That DP hits late. Yeah, dog. DP, like, Ken's DP was fire, bro. Ken's Dragon Punch was good, dog. I loved wake up stuff. But anyways, so they took that out. I said, fuck it. Fuck this game. Just like, get it out of here. It's trash. I don't like this game anymore. And to be fair, I was being unfair. There because the game didn't automatically cater to whatever I liked. I didn't give the game a chance. That's like the first sign of like some ego getting into that. Now, you have to accept the game as is. Not saying you have to play it, but you do have to accept the game on its terms. And they wanted to change. They wanted that tool to be resource related. So your meter you to do the moves and stuff like that, they want that to be resource. That was the balancing decision. I didn't accept those terms, so I stopped playing. And it's not a bad reason to stop playing, but you also have to realize what your what's the word I'm looking for? You have to kind of realize, like, am I doing this because I genuinely don't like it and I can't see myself playing this further, or I'm just mad because they changed something that I could probably get over in like a week of like playing without it. You came for the YuGiOh Master Duel giveaway. I'm gonna get into Master Duel in a bit. Actually, that's actually a really big part of the story. I'm gonna get into it in a little bit. Is there actually like a giveaway for that though? Because that's actually kind of dope if I could do that. I give y'all a dark magician deck so I can play me. Anyways, so in that meantime, I think Tekken 7 had came out, and I don't think I realized it then, but I was in and out with that game for a long time. I grinded hard. Like if we go back to my channel, I did a bunch of Tekken. Like last big Tekken video I did was back around like season 3. So I played it a lot. Like I think this is like stream stuff when Geese came out. Like I played it, but I remember online kind of being trash when it first started, but they patched that out, so I played it more consistently. I actually dabbled in more than one character. I think I was playing Jin, Kazumi, and Horang, who's my new secondary. When Julia came out, I played Julia. I think in between that, if you can notice, Soul Calibur 5 dropped in between that and stuff like that. Yeah, I was in and out, to be honest. And I don't think I really took stock of that at all. Like, I didn't take stock of that at all. I was kind of like thinking I was too good to lose to certain people. So fall back from like Street Fighter 5 and late Tekken Tag. Not knowing that with Tekken 7, I had growing pains because Bake wasn't in the game. If I have to go back again, I got the footage. So this is my team in like Tag 2. It was Violet, aka Lee, and Bake. Bake was my main. That's why he's the anchor of my team. Load times took forever. God damn. Oh, I forgot. I still got the slow mo on. And I did not turn the slow mo on. But that was my main character, bro. And even though I had Lee at point in this game, I did not know how to play the character by itself. I always had my actual main character in as the what's it called in relay? Last person anchor. I always had like Bacon anchor, so I could rely on him and his rage to like do damage and stuff like that. So this character never really developed the way it should have if I was playing a regular Tekken game. Once again, Tekken Tag 2 bad habits still being a thing, by the way. Anyways, straight. I have to learn a character from scratch. I basically have to build a game plan around a single character at a level to where I'm competing at the same level. Which once I finally do, I start playing the game more. So like once I start winning consistently, I start getting that ego. I start like, oh yeah, I'm that nigga. I'm the shit. I'm that guy. Yeah, got to get back in my bag. And that's what I was doing, but I wasn't doing it in a healthy way. I wasn't doing it where it's like, yeah, you're actually learning the game. But I was learning the game. I was getting much better at the game, but I let it kind of like drive my play. So anytime I got to a point where I was losing a lot, I ain't doing good. I'm not doing well. Fuck this shit. I'm not. This is trash. It happened a few times when I was playing Tekken 8, Tekken 7. So I'm in and out Tekken 7 until, and I play a little bit of Soul Calibur 6 in between. That online was actually bad. But in that game as well, the same problem came up, ego. Once I got to a certain rank in that game, I was getting upset that I was losing, and I felt like I should be winning. Mind you, I haven't played Soul Calibur since 5, and that was like in 2012, 2013. I think I probably stopped playing Soul Calibur 5 into the game the same year it came out, so maybe like 6 months afterwards. I dropped the game. I had no right to kind of like assume I was gonna be good in that game. I did well in that game, but I thought I was gonna be doing like really, really good. So I was in and out that game too. I had reasons not to play it, but that like the online being bad or kind of shaky was the reason I stopped playing. "2019. I kind of sound like Stephen A. Smith a little bit. I would have to like raise my voice in like different octaves to sound like him, but 2019, late 2019, Leroy comes out. It's season 4 of Tekken, I guess. No, season 3. It's still season 3. Leroy comes out. Yeah, season 3. Thank you, Muggy. I ain't give a fuck about Leroy being busted. I didn't think he was that busted at first. I went to a few tournaments. He didn't feel busted, but I was wrong. But I was like, yo, next year I'm doing it. I'm feeling myself. I got the PC version. I got a new monitor. Like, so I'm not playing in like lag and stuff like that on the monitor. I basically like double dipped on the game. So I can play PC crowd and the PlayStation crowd. Yeah, that's right. And so I'm grinding. I'm doing well. I'm not if I lose a little bit, I'm not getting too frustrated. I'm like, the ego's being fed. Ego's being fed. All right, cool. Let's stop playing online for once, because that's always been a problem for me too. Consistently playing online is not healthy. You need to play offline if you want to be decent, or if you want to level up even more to where you at. You have to play offline eventually. I start going to the local, and I'm doing good there. I'm over here beating people that, like, real talk, like, I probably shouldn't be like beating, that are decent. PC Tekken is weird. Tekken 7 is weird. I've noticed it. I prefer PlayStation 4. Like, I don't know how people prefer PS4 Tekken 7. I mean, PC Tekken 7. I don't get it, but y'all might got better monitors than me. Y'all probably playing at 120 hertz. I don't know. It's a little funky to me. Like, the quality and just the jitter, and it started fucking with me. Anyways, that's beyond the point. Distracting. I'm doing well. I think I have a little bit of footage of me playing that. Give me a sec. It's March 5th, 2020. So COVID's actually already here. But we're thinking like it ain't that bad, bro. We're gonna be alright. It's chicken flu for the soul, whatever. Bird flu for the soul. I fucked that joke up. But the true 404 is in the local scene is a really good player. I'm just over here playing my Lee, bro. This is like purple rank Lee. Look, punishing with 4-4. I'm trying to sidestep the electric with Hitman stance. You know, I'm doing the damn thing. You know, look, I'm shaking my head at getting bopped by the wall standing too, blocking hell sweeps at the wall. Like I was like this mic right here was like it felt like I was about to like go to a different level. It really did. Like it felt like I don't know why I tried to punish with it while standing for it, but it definitely felt like I was trying to get like my skill level was actually like getting somewhere to where I'm out here. I think I lose this match total, but like I think I went at this tournament specifically like 4-2 in a double elimination bracket. Like I was like a game away from like losers finals or something like that. I think I lost like a Gigas or something like that. No, it was a Paul player. That shit was rough. That dude bought me. Like I think he ended up winning the tournament too, if I'm not mistaken. But that match showed me that I still had some ways to go. But I didn't like let it fuck with the ego too much. But that was that. I was like, okay, cool. Final round gets canceled. COVID sweeps. I'm unemployed at the time, so I think I got a whole bunch of free time. That was rough. So life shit as usual. There's some life shit that goes on in the other stuff, but I don't want to too much focus on that because it excuses the behavior a little bit. And I just stopped playing Tekken. I stopped. Good time to play, to be honest. And if I would have stayed playing online, I could have been like Tekken God Prime or something like that. The way I was playing at that time, I honestly gave up on myself because I just wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. And that's been a consistent mindset issue, right? So I play fighting games occasionally when I go out for like a good year and a half. I just somehow find a friend of mine that plays Tekken. I'm playing a few sets. I don't mind. I go out to a party. Somebody got Tekken 7 or like a little event. Tekken 7's there. I'm playing it. Cool. I'm losing consistently too, by the way. Like I'm not that level of play you saw earlier wasn't happening. But I was losing against people using like the simple menu and shit. It's embarrassing to think about now because I'm like, bro, you was really like old man Tekken player over here, just like, yeah, I used to play this back in my day, like GoldenEye players and some shit. Like I was, yeah, it was. Ugh. I don't like it now. Like this conversation now, I'm looking back at it like, you could have been playing still, bro. You could have still played. Street Fighter 6 comes out. I don't think I have any videos uploaded to that, but I think the highest rank I got in Street Fighter 6 was platinum. Am I lying? Let's just say upper gold. let's just say like I tried to do better than I did in Street Fighter 5. And I did. But that's because I started to rework how I came at games that I'm not supposed to necessarily be good at. It's a new game. I'm not a 2D fighter player. That's not my usual wheelhouse. But I wouldn't have gotten there without this game. And it's completely antithetical to Give me a sec. Like I said, streaming is a blow up. So sometimes, there we go. Motherfucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. What does this have to do with fighting games? I'll tell you what, as soon as we load up. So, I have my only experience playing any type of trading card game at all was when I was in elementary school, and this music is actually really appropriate for the mood I'm trying to go for too. Funnily enough. It was like, you know, I'm over here using like Duelist Kingdom rules and shit. Like, oh, the grass is tall, so my insect monster gains 500 attack points type shit. Like, I'm basically making up rules. Basically. The kid that lived next to my grandma, I used to play with, I used to give him like half of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Starter deck. This is gonna be some fraudulent ass shit. I was a child, leave me alone. I used to give him all the kind of like mid cards, and I took all the best cards. So like Dark Magician, Curse of Dragon. I gave him Summon Skull. Mind you, Dark Magician and Summon Skull, I could just show you, didn't it? Summon Skull, 2,500 attack points, 1,200 defense points. Dark Magician, so same attack points, but Dark Magician has a higher defense point. So say if I needed to put Dark Magician in defense mode, I had the advantage. Basically, I was metagaming the kid, and I probably shouldn't have did that. Bad mic, I know. But besides that, that's as far as I got with this game. So, this is my first time, like I've heard people play Yu-Gi-Oh! I kind of like kept up with it insofar as like I knew that the Battle City rules, meaning that you had to like to summon like a Blue Eyes or something like that, you needed 2 monsters that added up to like 8 or something. Well, there's 2 monsters, 2 like lower level monsters or something like that. I knew the basics, so because I watched the show up until like I didn't watch GX, and I watched a little bit of 5Ds. So I knew about the synchro stuff too. So I knew a little bit, but I wasn't ever like a trading card game player. So the game has evolved in like a bunch of. It's been 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! I ain't played shit, but it's free, and they give you like a little quick starter deck, and you can just play like single player stuff too. I pick my starting deck. Oh, I don't even have it anymore, do I? Well, you can pick between like a few starter decks. So I picked Blue Eyes because that's the most. They give you a Blue Eyes deck at the beginning of the game. They give you the new mechanics. They give you the older mechanics, and then they give you. Actually, this is actually a really good thing to show. I think it's like a deck I just. Okay, so this ain't actually the deck I'm thinking about. They give you this deck right here, the starting deck, that gives you a bunch of like basic monsters and stuff like that, and you kind of learn with that. You know, they give you the new mechanic monsters and stuff like that. Boom, boom, boom. I'm trying not to go too much into detail because I know everybody in a Yu-Gi-Oh player, and I don't want to get too caught in the weeds. So I picked the Blue Eyes deck because it's Blue Eyes, baby. You know. You know. Does it come with a dual disc? Unfortunately not. I would love to use a dual disc, but it does not come with the dual disc. But I picked. This is like a basic. Think of this as if I were to. This is like the beginner deck or whatever. I start playing. I make a deck with 60 cards because it's like you can have 40 to 60. But the more cards you have in the deck, the harder it is to pull exactly what you need, the combo and to summon certain things and stuff like that. I was just playing the game, bro. I was just learning. And then my ass decided to go online. Let's just say, we got to look at my data. Let's look at this number of standard duels. So I've played 342 duels in this game. Number of standard duels, 151. I literally have like the Kanto decks in Pokemon and wins. Which this isn't even half. So my record's probably closer to like 48, 47%. So I definitely lose more than I win. So I'm getting online and these cats can play. Like, I'm losing turn 1. Turn 1. This is a game that's so volatile that as soon as you draw your hand, you can lose. That's like if you're playing a fighting game and as soon as you start the match, you're getting infinited. That's how volatile the game is. But it's legal because there's a lot of counterplay and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how the game works. It's volatile. My ego could not handle that shit at all. I could not handle the idea that despite my rinky-dink 60 card deck, I took no time learning the game. I took no time just investing in any type of the mechanics and stuff like that. I took no time in just like reading the cards. Like, one of the most fundamental things about this game is reading your cards. Let me give you an example of some shit. Where is it? What card threw me for a loop because I didn't know how to use it? Oh, Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. So basically, if I summon this card, it's like a fusion summon or whatever. If I do this card, basically what it can do two things. It can negate somebody doing an effect out of the graveyard, or you contribute it to like summon another synchro monster like Blue Eye Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. I didn't read it, so anytime the prompt came up to like, hey, do you want to use this effect? I'm thinking I'm using the graveyard effect. I'm using the tribute effect and throwing my whole game away. But that's me not bothering reading the cards. That's like if I'm playing a fighting game, I'm not going through my move list and figuring out how the fucking moves work. It's very similar. So I'm losing and I'm thinking, you know what? This game is trash. Why do I even play this? Why do I even get into it? I'm just gonna play the solo mode stuff. And if we remember from the beginning of the video, the stream rather, it sounds like everything this person right here has said. The problem is I will always just be terrible at these games, and it feels like all my matches are against people who are ready to go to Evo or play like they never picked up a controller before. That's how I felt. Mind you, this isn't my roadhouse. I don't play card games. Why do I feel like I should be like summoning Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon turn 1 against people who have been probably playing this game since day one, or actually care about learning the mechanics of the game? What I like about competitive games in general, not just fighting games, it can be Call of Duty, it can be Mario Kart, it could be fucking Spades, any of that shit, is the interplay between you and your opponent or opponents or your teammates or just yourself. And if you want to do well, you do have to put some time in to learn the games and mechanics. And it's not fair to you, it's not fair to your opponent, and it's not fair to your teammates in these situations to let your ego dictate how the game is supposed to be played. That's not to say that you have to learn every single mechanic, every single detail, anything like that. Because I'm about to tell you what made the game easier to learn for me. There's like this aspect that, you know, folks, I get it. You don't want to take the game so seriously that it's a job, or you don't want to overcommit to something, or, you know, you just kind of want to have fun with stuff. I get that, and I'm not discouraging that. But when it gets to a point where you think you should be doing better because you're just simply playing the game, I don't know if I can really vibe with that or really agree with that, because it's actually a kind of a bad mindset to have. You do have to at some point invest in the thing you're doing, just a little bit, not too much that you're willing to do. Not asking people to overcommit to things, but it happens in any game. You got people who will, if you know spades in the black community specifically, a big problem there is a lot of people don't want to play the game because they're afraid of the competition and how, you know, voracious it gets. I get it, but taking the time to learn so you can play with other people makes the game fun. You know, taking the time to like, oh, I can do this. Oh, you got house rules. What are your house rules? What to do here? Can I talk across the board? If I'm just learning, what can I do? A lot of people don't want to even put that foot in, and it makes them resent the game in itself, when it should just be like, hey, yo, if you're not willing to put a little bit of effort in, then it's on you that you're not enjoying the thing. If you put a little effort in and you don't like it, that's cool. That's completely separate. But if you're taking the time to just like put a little effort in, you can get a lot more out of it. Call of Duty is a big one too. I want to point out, because it's the type of game that actually rewards a sense of just like dogpiling, like one team over the other. And so you don't really get a chance to learn, but there's techniques and things that you can learn to be better, and to learn the maps and learn how the guns work, what guns work for you. I think in Modern Warfare 2, they had like attachment tuning and stuff like that. And so like how you do your attachments matters and stuff like that. So learning how it works is very important. So like if you're getting like stomped in matches and stuff like that, you could do a little bit better. Like you could talk about the skill-based matchmaking and all that type of stuff, but at the end of the day, who's responsible for enjoying the game at the end of the day? It's you. You have to put in some type of effort to enjoy the game. And it's easier with other people for sure. So with Call of Duty, a lot of people just play with their friends. But say if you got like 2 or 3 friends that are like way too good, you're out here playing people who are probably like just play the game like 24/7. And I can get that being an issue. But that means that, hey, if I want to contribute to the team a little bit more, I maybe need to get a little bit better. I'm not saying go fucking watch 5 different like no scope kill videos and shit like that, but just like, okay, what can I do to do a little bit better? What can I go watch a match? Can I go like see how these guns work and stuff like that? Like why when I shoot the recoil goes up? There's attachment that can make it go down or keep it more steady, stuff like that. It just putting just a little bit more effort in so your ego doesn't get too involved makes a hell of a difference. What I did here was, for YuGiOh specifically, I just started playing the game. I just started just fucking around. So Street Fighter 5 came out in June, right? Okay. And that was the moment I was like, "Oh shit! I actually might have a deck here that I can actually, if I wanted to go past gold, and I've gotten close. If I want to go past gold, I can use that deck. I feel like it. I really feel it. But I would not have gotten to that point without playing, taking my lumps, and figuring out how this fucking game works, bro. It's complicated. It's, as you can tell if you've been listening this entire time and me trying to like micro explain this stuff, it's a lot. And if it's you tuned out for a little bit, I don't blame you. It's a lot. But when you play and consistently play, and also this format doesn't really lend well to like reading. The cards are just like flowing out, coming out, animations popping up, boom, bang, boom, all this stuff. Like it can kind of be hard to keep up with, but it's about learning the game and giving yourself enough room to actually be willing to learn the game. If it's fighting games, a lot of people get stuck on execution and stuff like that, and play a game with simpler execution. That those are out there. Go play Soul Calibur. Go play Smash Brothers. Go play Grand Blue. Tekken is actually pretty easy at first once you start messing around with stuff. The advanced stuff is whatever, but when you start playing, a lot of the stuff is very intuitive. DOA, Virtua Fighter. There's games out there like that. If you're playing Call of Duty, get with some friends that know how to play the game and have them kind of teach you the ropes. With YuGiOh, the solo mode helped me out the most because it got me up to date on all the new like summoning formats and all that type of stuff. I cleared the entire thing and beat the extra deck challenges and stuff like that. Now, I haven't beaten the loner deck stuff, but that's my limitation on myself. I understand I do have some limitations on myself that won't allow me to get probably as good as I probably can be, but I don't want to get that good. That's not my intent, and that's okay. But understanding where you want to be, and the overall growth is very important to how you engage with competitive gaming as a whole. I think I pretty much said all I can really say. It's a process, and I'm glad that before Tekken 8 comes out, I will be competitively minded and all the way there.